It's the National Football League on EA Sports, and we'll play host to a battle between conferences. It's the Cincinnati Bengals and the Seattle Seahawks under the lights on Thursday night.
Well, the city of Seattle known for coffee, grunge music, and, of course, rain. And we're definitely going to get a heavy dose of the last of those three here tonight as you look inside a wet and wild Lumen Field. Welcome again, everybody, with Charles Davis. I'm Brandon Gunn, and yes, the rain is falling now, and it is supposed to continue to fall throughout this game. So how do you think that will impact this contest?
Well, first and foremost, both quarterbacks are going to make sure the officials have those dry footballs coming in each and every play and standing over them sometimes with a towel before the center gets up there to snap it. Second thing is the focus of all the guys who handle the football. Do they wear gloves? Do they take them off? Will they carry the ball high and tight to make sure they have good ball security? That's paramount in a game like this.
Evan McPherson has this one teed up, and off we go from Seattle. And out a little across the 25 to the 27. So out come the Seahawks now for their first possession. And they're led out by their mobile quarterback out of West Virginia. It's Geno Smith.
I still remember back in 2013 when he was drafted out of West Virginia. He was coming off of back-to-back 4,000-yard seasons for the Mountaineers. Hadn't seen as much game time in recent years, but at one point, a capable starter in the NFL.
They're coming out with a jumbo package to start the drive. They'll run. It's Kenneth Walker. And not a whole lot of room to operate there on the first down run. He gets maybe 3.
Yeah, I don't know if it's exactly a win-win, but if you're on offense, you'll take that kind of a run, all right? It was kind of stacked up, found a little bit of yardage, and frankly, they're pretty close to staying on schedule on offense. The playbook is still open for the coordinator.
Smith now to throw. His throw incomplete.
They'll put a check mark in the box where the defense coordinator was saying, how well can we stay with these receivers if we're in man coverage? Because he just did it on that one, forced the incompletion. That'll allow him to get bolder with his pass rush, won't it?
Absolutely. Frees up your guys elsewhere. A tough spot here on their opening drive. This is 3rd and 7. From the gun, here's Smith. Pass taken in by his big tight end. And he's going to be out up around the 45-yard line. It's a gain of 15, first down Seahawks.
That's a pretty throw right there. That ball's in the air a long time, but it's right on the money on the right sideline. A really good route. Moving the defenders towards the middle of the field before breaking to the side.
Zach Taylor's made the decision. He's going to go ahead and throw out the red challenge flag.
Previous play is under review.
Did he keep those feet in bounds? That's the question they've got to decide. And I got to say, watching it in real time, it was awfully close.
Yeah, it certainly looked like a heck of a catch because he didn't appear to bobble it, which could complicate things. But even with the benefit of replay, that's pretty tight.
Well, here's the call.
After review of the play, ruling on the field stands.
So the challenge there does not go their way. This will indeed remain a completed pass. Now a play fake, and it's Smith. And the catch is made here by Tyler Lockett. And he's going to be out of bounds, but not before he takes it inside the 40. Another strong gain on the last 2 plays. They've moved it a combined 33 yards.
What an intelligent play as he found open grass and uncovered quickly. A nice clutch play to move the chains. The defense, they've got to do a much better job of accounting for these shorter routes.
No chance to get away there for Smith as he goes down. Trey Hendrickson. It'll go as a loss of about 8 as he gets in there to drop him. But defensively on the previous play, they gave up a pretty good chunk of yardage, but right there, they got a good portion of it right back.
And if we just flip it around from the offensive perspective, took a nice step forward, and how about a couple of leaps backwards after that play? They've got to figure out a big call coming up here to try and gain that yardage back.
Throwing now is Geno. Outright to Smith and Jigba. It'll be a gain of 5, and it'll be a third and about 13. Not an easy spot here. They'll be in search of 13 yards to try to pick up the first. Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. And that's going to be incomplete. The contact there enough to jar that ball free, and it brings up 4th down.
As this old brain remembers, when I see 5 wide receivers on the field as a defender, I know the ball's coming out hot. They expected it and got there and popped it free.
The Seahawks will call on Michael Dixon on 4th down to punt this one away. And that one hits a little too close to the goal line, and it continues into the end zone for a touchback. Here are the Bengals on offense, and here is Joe Burrow ready to lead them at quarterback.
And when you come into the league as the #1 guy selected, a lot of hype comes with it, and sometimes that weight can be unbearable. But this young man, he took that weight on and handled it as well as you can imagine, and I love his ability to make a second, third reaction play and create downfield.
Burrow and the Bengals with a 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line. And they'll begin here with a run by Brown. And he stopped right at the 25 after a gain of 5.
A quick burst there, and he nicely bit off a pretty decent gain.
Here's a 2nd and 5 now from the 25. And they go play action now. Burrow. Looking deep here for Chase. And that will be incomplete. Trying to dial up the long one way out there, but it'll be 3rd down.
Zone coverage there, and they were playing deep. That makes it obviously a little bit harder to run by guys. And that time, there was not much of a window to get the ball in there, and it winds up incomplete.
Burrow will throw. Work in the middle of the field, and he's got a man complete. And he is going to have a Bengals 1st down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
I don't care how many times we see it. I still get a kick out of watching quarterbacks and receivers do the pass tree in pregame warm-up. But I always remember that when we go to practices, we see that after practices as well. They really tune it up, don't they?
They tune it up. They know why they do it for these situations. 1st down.
And they build that trust, and that's why they're able to find him in this type of a situation.
Now Burrow. And that one complete once again to Higgins. And he's going to get a solid gain of 9 before being brought down. 2nd and right at a yard. From the 48-yard line, here's 2nd down and 1. In motion, the tight end. Out of the gun, it's Burrow. All right, rifles one, and that's going to be intercepted. Rayshon Jenkins picks it off, and he returns it into enemy territory down to the 45-yard line.
Okay, partner, no surprise to you. I'm going to look at this from the defensive perspective. In the rain, you have to be more cautious trying to cover passing routes. Why? The offense knows where they're going with the football. The receiver knows the route he's going to run. You have to make sure you keep your footing underneath you.
Seattle's offense coming back onto the field, ready for their 2nd drive. Over on the sideline, hoping to hit that reset button between possessions. Last time out, they had to punt it away. This time, hoping to finish this thing off in the end zone. In motion goes the tight end. After the interception, here's Smith. Throw out wide to Walker. So the completion good for 6 yards, and that will bring up second down. We've seen quite a bit of the short passing game here early on first quarter, haven't we?
We have, and I think it works a couple of ways for this team because, number one, you throw the short game until they stop it. And if they're not going to stop it, you keep throwing it, and occasionally you'll break a tackle and turn it into a bigger gain. Also, if they start to creep up, start to pressure receivers, now you go over the top, take it deep, and now you get some of those big shots downfield.
Repeat of the last play, finding Walker. And they'll be inside the 35 now at the 34-yard line. A gain of 5, good enough for the first down.
Another catch for him there on this drive, Brandon. And it looks like they're going to utilize him out of the backfield any way they can. And that time they pick up a first down. So now on defense, do you assign a man to him and try and cover him before he gets going?
They'll fake the handoff. Now Smith. Now a quick throw there, but it's going to be incomplete. Easy to tell who they're targeting on this drive. He caught the first 2 passes, but then this time unable to hook up.
But I don't think that stops them from continuing to go back to him, do you?
No.
I mean, they've got a plan. They're trying to execute it.
And after that second catch, I saw him in the huddle. He said, hey, let's go back one more time. Didn't work there. They'll fake it. Now Smith. And that is incomplete.
That's what you're going to need to do against those big receivers. You got to get in there and get physical with them. That time he got in close, got in tight, and knocked the ball away.
So back-to-back incompletions, and that has him staring at a 3rd and 10. A shotgun snap for Smith. Flush to his right. I guess no need to force it when you can do that instead. First down, 18-yard gain.
He's a talented runner, and that means he's always looking for bigger and bigger gains when he takes off. Certainly found some bonus yards there beyond the first down marker, and his early drive will continue with that extra jolt from his legs.
So the ball down to the 16 here for 1st and 10. To the right side, this is Walker. Just a yard on the first down carry, so it's 2nd and 9.
We've called a lot of games, but we don't normally talk about inside linebackers being that fleet of foot, do we?
No, he was able to get outside there to make that play.
Yeah, and you know what makes them faster? Their ability to read plays, understand what offenses are trying to do, and put themselves in proper position.
Here's Smith. He finds Smith and Jigba. They'll give him 4 yards there. And now 3rd down and 6 to go. They are in need of 6 yards here if they hope to move the chains. Smith. He'll be hit and taken down at the 21. Mike Hilton, always dangerous on the corner blitz, and he gets the sack.
We always talk about how teams are so competitively matched, and you just want to make those plays that give you an advantage. How about right here? The difference between letting them score a touchdown versus holding them to a field goal, that's absolutely huge with the play he just made.
And you know he hated taking the loss there on 3rd down. On comes the Seahawk kicker here on 4th down. It's Jason Myers. From the right hash, it's a 38-yard attempt. Myers' kick is good, and the Seahawks grab a 3-0 lead. So, Charles, they get to them with their first turnover of the game and then make it hurt a little bit extra with a field goal.
And anytime you give the ball up, what's the first thing a coach tells his defense? Don't let them score off of this. You've got to put out the fire. In fact, in 2021, that's what one NFL coach termed his defense. The firemen. Go out there, guys, and don't let them put some points on the board.
Myers now converted on the field goal try. Now he's on to kick it away. And a good return as he'll be stopped just shy of the 30-yard line. Cincinnati coming back onto the field here for their second drive. They threw an interception the first time they had the football, only gave up 3 points off of that, so it shouldn't be a difficult hole to overcome.
It really shouldn't, as long as they're not listening to the chatter coming from the other side, because when you throw a pick, look, I know defensive backs, they have a tendency to be a little bit loud after they take one away, but they also have a tendency to gamble a little bit more, thinking they'll get a second one. Maybe they can take advantage of that with some double moves.
Trying to shake off the interception from the last drive. He'll look to throw. Give him a gain of 5 on the completion, and that's going to bring up second down.
Nice rhythm throw there on first down. He located his tight end, made it a nice easy pitch and catch.
Hoping he can break a tackle or two. Wasn't able to do that there, but still good yardage. Here's a 2nd and 5. Shotgun handoff to Brown here. And this defense able to plug him up there as he'll get a yard to the 35. They follow up the gain of 5 by only getting 1 there on second down. 3-0 after 1 on EA Sports. Start of the second quarter, and it's the Bengals in control of the football. 3rd and 4. As they've got it as we resume action. And they'll send the tight end in motion here. Now it's Burrow. That is caught. And he's brought down, but not before picking up the first with a very effective stiff arm. 9 yards on the pickup there, and it keeps the drive alive.
This offense is starting to get into rhythm. A nice quick throw there on target, able to pick up another first down.
From the shotgun, Joe Burrow. Over the middle, he finds Higgins. And that's good for a gain of 6, and it'll be second down. Burrow on play action. And that falls to the ground, incomplete. A nice job of bodying him up defensively, and now it brings up 3rd down. He did an okay job of absorbing the hit, just couldn't secure the football through the catch.
And he was right there on the spot and forced the incompletion. That's something defenders work on all the time. If you're there, make the contact, but continue to work your way through the receiver so that you can't possess the football and turn it into a catch.
He's got his target. That's complete. And that'll wind up moving the chains again as the tackle's going to be made at the Seahawks 36. His first catch, and it's a pretty big one. They get the conversion on 3rd down.
That's a play that will likely be forgotten when you talk about big moments in this game. But plays like this are critical to keep drives going. And if points result, we'll call this play significant.
On 1st and 10, here's Brown. And he'll work this forward for about 3 at second down.
Well, they certainly had success throwing the ball on this drive, and not as much running it as we just saw once again on that last play. Stopped after a very short gain. But I wouldn't abandon the run totally, because otherwise, pass rushers just tee off on your quarterback. Makes it very, very difficult for him in that situation.
Burrow looking to pass. Oh, he had a man running free, but he overshot him, and it's incomplete.
There are not many times where you might say it's a detriment to have a quarterback with a cannon for an arm, but this might be one of those few times. He just laid that one out there a bit too far, and his receiver couldn't run under it.
Well, this drive, they're 2 for 2 on 3rd down conversions, but they need 7 yards here. Now it's Burrow. That's caught by his big tight end, Mike Gesicki. And I don't think he got there, no. He's short by maybe a foot, maybe. Call it 4th and inches.
I thought maybe when he caught it, he'd have a good chance of getting that first down, but that's a nice job of holding him up and preventing him from getting to the sticks.
So on fourth down, off goes Burrow. On comes Evan McPherson for the Bengal field goal. On the right hash, it's a 43-yard attempt. McPherson's kick is good, and that will tie us at 3-3. So they're content to take the 3. Somewhat of a conservative call there, opting not to go for it on 4th and inches.
And that's from a team that you and I know is not usually playing it close to the vest. It's a little bit of a surprise that they opted for the 3 instead of going for it.
Field goals all we've had so far. 3-3 now as the kick is away. And he'll take it up past the 25 to the 26-yard line. The Seattle offense now set to come back out on the field. And after the field goal last time, we'll see what they can get here. At least they got points out of the last drive, Charles.
I never met an offensive coach that didn't want to drive to end with a kick. Most of them wanted to end with a PAT, right? In this case, a field goal, they'll take it. Way better than the alternative, which is a punt.
Yeah, but you met fan bases that wanted that. They weren't happy with that field goal.
I haven't met a fan base yet that wants to drive to end with a kick, other than the extra point. That's it.
Right off the bat, it's a first down to start the drive, 12 yards.
Absolutely love the run right there. This guy's known for his quickness, but also for his speed. He's able to get to the second level almost before you blink if you give him any type of blocking. Always talk about slot receivers, and they're usually known as quicker than fast. In this case, we've got a guy who's quick and fast, and he used it to great advantage.
And he'll be stopped right at midfield. That's a 12-yard gain now on back-to-back plays.
We use the word relentless a lot with guys who are aggressive on the field. In this case, it really fits, doesn't it? How about his ability to break tackles and his feet never stop moving?
Back-to-back good plays have him on the move on first down. From the 50, it's Smith. And that throw behind his man, he missed him, incomplete.
Well, they've been back on their heels a little bit here in this drive, but a chance to exhale just a little bit there with incompletion on first down. Now they have to gear up, try and get 2 more stops, and escape this drive.
Smith, an incomplete pass on first down. Now it's 2nd and 10. Straight ahead, Walker. And he's going to be stopped up at about the 47-yard line. He'll get only 3 there, so it leaves him with a 3rd and 7 ahead. Pretty good little 2-play sequence there. You force the incompletion, then a very short pickup.
Yeah, now maybe you bring in an extra defensive back or 2 because you want to try and defend on 3rd down. They like to play those nickel or sub packages, don't they?
Now a play fake, and it's Smith. Pass taken in by his big tight end. And he gets this one inside the 15, just a yard or 2 shy of the 10. An excellent gain, 35 yards.
Oftentimes now, offenses aren't nearly as precise as days gone by. They just tell receivers, find an open patch of grass and let the quarterback find you. And that's exactly what they did on that play. First with the pass through the air, nice chunk of yardage there, and then additional pickup with his legs after the catch.
And he'll get it here to the 10-yard line. It'll be a pickup of just 2, and it'll be a 2nd down. Throwing now is Geno. On the slant, here's Smith and Jigba. So give him 5 yards there on the pitch and catch. And now we've got a 3rd and 3.
And I think he just wanted to get the ball to one of his playmakers to see if they can make something happen, but he ends up throwing into a crowded area. And after the catch, he isn't able to do much with it.
Second quarter, 2 minutes to go. Tie ball game. The 8th play of the drive coming up. It's 3rd and 3. Out of the gun, Smith. Nowhere to go here. He lost the football. And this ball recovered by the offense. But remember, they cannot advance it here in the final 2 minutes of the half. So this will be blown dead, and it'll come back to the spot of the fumble. So on 4th down, here's Jason Myers for the Seahawk field goal. From the right hash, and this one just a chippy. Myers' kick is good, and they will take the lead here in this battle of field goals at 6-3. So we're trading first-half field goals. No breakthrough on the touchdown front. We've got a 6-3 game.
Yeah, and I know so many people look at a game through offensive eyes, right? They want to see how the game's played that way. You know how I'm going to view it, right? The defenses, to me, have responded well in this game. Like what I'm seeing from them, both of them hoping to keep it to field goals and not give up big touchdowns.
So all field goals so far, 6-3 our score as the kick is away. And a nice return sets him up pretty good here right at the 30-yard line. The Bengals set to take over. And last time able to get 3. It's not what they wanted. They wanted 6, but they got at least something. They mustered something out of the drive.
They'll take it. I like the way you've described it. Not ideal, but they'll take it. Anything to put some points on the board. But this time on offense, they don't even want to see the field goal kicker trot on the field. They want that ball in the end zone.
Yeah, they'll be going for 6. From the shotgun, it's Burrow. And that one into the hands of Brown downfield. And he's taken down right at the 45-yard line. A really nice gain of 25 yards.
Certainly no settling into the drive there. They came right out on the first play and attacked the middle of the field for a big gainer and a first down.
This offense finding its legs now. Here's another 1st and 10. Here's Burrow setting up to throw it. Able to find Higgins. And they're able to work this to the 25 before it's all said and done. It's another first down as this time they get an even 20.
Not only have they completed a couple on this drive, but they peeled off some pretty good chunks of yardage, too.
Absolutely great start. 2 nice plays in the pass game. Now can they continue to feed off that? Now Burrow. And brought down, but not before they get it inside the 10 to the 7. I guess no need to force it when you can do that instead. First down, 18-yard gain.
I think the last 2 plays really illustrate how difficult it is to game plan against this guy because you know he can throw the football, but how about his use of legs as well? What we call those broken plays, you can't account for them.
Yeah, those plays, those 2 that you just mentioned, a microcosm really of how he can hurt you. Here's Burrow. And it's caught. That's good for a gain of 6, 2nd and goal. So a decent gain there, but not their 4th consecutive first down like they had on the first 3 plays.
You sound almost disappointed there. You want to fire the offensive coordinator on that one or what?
They'd gotten into a rhythm. I thought they were just going to keep going.
Well, almost a win for the defense, but if that's your win, you're not doing very well right now.
Now a timeout. 7 seconds left in the first half. Out of the gun, it's Burrow. And he will take it on in for a Bengals touchdown. Joe Burrow in the final seconds of the first half. And the Bengals have taken the lead here in the final stages of this first half. So they're able to capture the lead here just before halftime.
And not only that, they get the ball to start the second half.
That's right.
This is almost like basketball down the stretch, right, where you get the 2-for-1 situation where you try and get 2 shots to your opponent's 1. In this situation, they got the touchdown. They'll get another shot at to start the second half.
Could be a big turnaround. Evan McPherson for the extra point. And he's got it as the lead is now 10-6. The drive summary that time, 5 plays. And it was Joe Burrow who took it himself for the touchdown run. So with 3 seconds remaining in the half, they will line up to kick this one away. So we have reached halftime here, and it's the visiting Bengals out in front. As we send you cross-country to Orlando, Jonathan Coachman is there and has our EA Sports halftime report.
We saw a strong first half out of the quarterback, Joe Burrow. He's got the lone touchdown of the game on a touchdown run. We'll see if he can get it going through the air as this one goes on.
Okay, Coach, adjustments likely going to play a big role in this third quarter in what's been a tight contest so far. Forecast calling for more of the same. The rain set to continue as we are underway in the second half. And it's a pretty good return here as he'll get this up to the 29. The Bengal offense now with a football first here to begin quarter number 3. And Charles, they've got the lead. Put your coaching hat on here now. What's the game plan for the second half?
I think getting the running game going a little bit more, because I thought in the first half they didn't get it moving the way that they would like. They had success throwing it, but I think these first couple of drives, they'll want to get those running backs going and give them more opportunities, and I will guarantee you that those guys were lobbying for them in the locker room at halftime.
Burrow will throw. Open man is Chase. And a loose football. Oh, one of the linebackers has got it, and his guys will take over at the 30-yard line.
All these years we've been watching the game, I start to get the sense that whenever it rains out, those guys have to touch the ball and carry it. They're extremely resentful about that weather.
Yeah, I'm just happy I'm not resentful that we have a roof over our heads. I know that much.
Yeah, maybe we won't fumble our play sheets here as we just saw the fumble happen on the field.
Now we'll see what this Seahawks offense has in store with their first possession of the second half. Their defense did its job, forcing the takeaway there to start the half, and now can the offense follow suit?
And you'd better believe that one side of the ball feeds off the work of the other, so they'll want to come out, establish some rhythm, and go down and take the lead.
And his throw's going to be incomplete.
But these are the situations that really test the defense, those sudden changes. They're already inside field goal range to start the possession. Their goal now, keep it to a long kick, if indeed they end up trying one.
Smith, an incomplete pass on first down. Now it's 2nd and 10. Geno now to throw. Out to the right, he gets it to Lockett. That'll leave him with a 3rd and 2 coming up. They got 8 yards there. They'll come to the line, needing only 2 yards to gain the first here. On 3rd down, here's Walker. And he will be very close to a first down, but I see the closed fist of the referee, and that means 4th down. Well done to sniff that out defensively. He had it diagnosed pretty quickly.
I love that description because diagnosed is perfect on that one. Read his keys, made the play, and he couldn't even get going moving the football.
It would be a very makeable field goal try from here, but instead they're going to go for it. They snap it to Smith. Able to find the open man. That's complete. And he'll be taken down, but he does have first down yardage. A solid pickup of 5 and a very solid 4th down conversion. And defensively, pure frustration. Line of scrimmage, the 15. It's 1st and 10. Here's Smith. Left side here, that's the tight end Fant. And all the way down inside the 5 to the 4. It's a nice pickup of 12 yards, and it gives him a 1st and goal.
It's all pretty simple sometimes, isn't it? Go where the defenders are not, and he does exactly that. Makes a nice catch to move the chains, Defense, got to find a better way of accounting for the shorter routes that are being run against them.
Walker will take this into the end zone for a Seahawk touchdown. Well, they had their chances in the first half, you remember, but had to settle for 2 field goals. This time they come away with 6.
I think they actually got affirmation about what they were doing by getting a touchdown, because the field goals means they got in range but couldn't quite finish it off. This time, they broke through, and that's great for the old confidence.
And on the sideline, difference of a feeling between 3 and 6, is it astronomical or no?
It can be at times, that's for sure. A lot of times the field goal feels like a disappointment. The touchdown, well, that tells you you're getting it done.
Jason Myers now for the extra point. And this one's right there, and that pushes the lead to 13-10. So the drive there took 6 plays. And it was Kenneth Walker finishing things off with a touchdown run. After the touchdown, here's Myers to boot it away. And they'll get him down inside the 30 at the 27. So now the Bengal offensive unit back out onto the field. Charles, you got to think the number 1 goal here is ball security. Remember, last drive they coughed it up. Then they allowed the touchdown, and now they're trailing on the scoreboard.
Boy, the way you described it makes me think that that one actually hurt them 3 times. The fumble cost them potential points. Then they watched their opponent get a touchdown off of the fumble. And third, they lost the lead as a result. Really tough sequence right there. I don't think coaches have to remind them to hold on to the football. They've just got to find a way to get it done.
That's a good way to start the drive. 17 yards and a first down.
Now, that was an excellent run. And when you see that happen, that's when you're seeing guys doing their job and then some people doing a little bit more. Offensive linemen and tight ends, they're expected to block. But the wide receivers, all they want to do is catch passes. So when they block on a big-time running play and create extra space, you've kind of hit the jackpot there.
He's tackled a yard short of the marker. Good gain of 9 on first down.
Brandon, perfect defense in this situation would have meant that there was an incompletion that would have picked it off. Okay, so they gave up the completion. But I really enjoyed watching how the defense stayed in sync, stayed in great communication. And as he dragged across each zone, you see him pointing, communicating. There he is, and they passed him off to each defender. Ended up making a nice play, even though it was complete.
Back-to-back receptions for him, and it's another first down.
Many different ways to create space, but on that play, he did it with that big, wide body of his. Didn't get a whole lot of yardage on the play, but it did what it was supposed to. Pick up a first down.
They're passing here, Joe Burrow. And this one is going to be off the mark, too far out in front.
This could be the start of a nice stand from this defense now after getting walked backwards on this drive. Come through with another one here, and you have them staring at a 3rd and long, and that puts the defense in a position to dictate to the offense.
A good action to this point in the 3rd quarter, just a 3-point game, 2nd and 10. Again, it's Burrow. Oh, he's going to let this go for the end zone. And he's got it. Touchdown, Bengals. Andre Yoshivas. 44 yards. And the Bengals have taken the lead here in this 3rd quarter. Well, on that connection, it looked like they maybe had some pre-play communication. Maybe one of them noticed an area that was open to the defense to get the pass to.
When you put the time in, sometimes you have that great silent communication that you just noticed right there, because the best quarterback-receiver combos in the NFL, they know how to make those adjustments at the line of scrimmage when they see something pre-play, and they got it done there.
McPherson now for the extra point. And that will make this a 4-point game. So that drive spanned 5 plays, and it ends with a Bengals score. after the touchdown. McPherson on to kick this one away. And a nice return sets him up pretty good here right at the 30-yard line. The Seattle now ready to march onto the field. This drive here beginning probably with a pair of motivated groups. Remember, the offense scored a touchdown on their last time out, looking to repeat that in Charles's defense. They were very frustrated after giving up 6 the last time on the field.
And frankly, it's just a battle of wills in a lot of ways because you know they're both motivated, they both game plan for this drive, and they both have specific outcomes in mind. To me, it just comes down to who can execute better and which side can step up and assert its will over the other.
And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield. That good for 21 yards on the catch and run.
Well, every now and then I can speak from experience because I do know, as a defender, it is awfully hard to stay with your man on these crossing routes because even if you don't get picked, there's a danger of being picked either by one of their receivers or maybe by your own defender. And on that play, that worked quite well.
And he pushes through a would-be tackler to get about 3 yards, second down.
Not a huge carry there on first down, but not all of them will be. But still, all in all, a positive play for the offense. It's all about picking up at least a few to set up what you're going to do here on second down.
And they'll come up 2nd and 7. Sticking with Walker on second down. They'll get only a couple down to the 44.
You know that old expression, it's not my night? It hasn't been his so far. I don't know if the legs are a little bit heavy. Sometimes having to hang out all day and play doesn't exactly play to your advantage, but it's been a tough go for him.
And every time he looks up, somebody's there defensively. That was the same case on that play. Smith now to throw. That's complete to DK Metcalf. And this will not be enough. On 3rd and 5, he only gets 3.
So much about offense is what you call hidden yardage. You know, you throw the ball to someone, they catch it, and then they can make a big play. You know, they create a play, run after catch. They did a really nice job there of limiting that and keeping him from a first down.
Yeah, stopped him in his tracks. And here's Dixon to punt now as he gets this one away. And this one will not be returnable as it sails out of bounds. Cincinnati now ready to take the field. And they'll just simply be looking to build off the confidence of the last time out where they scored a touchdown.
And confidence is powerful, isn't it? When you've scored once, you feel like you can go back out there and get it done again. Doesn't matter what the defense throws at them. They feel like they're in a groove right now, and they want to get out there and show it.
Yeah, hoping to stay in that groove here this go-around. From the shotgun, Joe Burrow. Forced out to his left. And he'll protect himself at the end here as he winds up getting pretty decent yardage. The improv on the scramble there gets him 6, and it'll be second down.
You know what I like about that play? He didn't try to do too much on first down. He took what the defense gave him, put together a solid game to bring up second and manageable. Now they have a couple of plays to pick up just a few yards and a new set of downs.
Now it's Burrow. Over the middle, that's caught by Chase. And Chase going to pick up a Bengals first down as he'll get this up to the 39. They get 6 on the pickup there as the drive will continue. So from the 39 now, they'll come up on a 1st and 10. Burrow looking to pass. Looking deep here for Chase. He's got it at the 15. And he will take it on in for a Bengals touchdown. Jamar Chase, 61 yards. And the Bengals will add on to their lead here in the final minute of the 3rd. Well, you know he can be explosive, and he's ultra explosive there on the fly route.
And you know how many times we've talked to coaches and we've had quoted back to us, well, you know something? When you execute really well, it doesn't matter if they know it's coming or not. Well, sometimes athleticism beats you as well. He just took off and went. And that's almost like one of your Turkey Bowl games, isn't it? Just go long,
Backyard.
man. I'll hit you. And it worked really well for them.
And McPherson on for the extra point. And that one pushes the lead up to 11. Scoring summary, 3-play drive. And it was Jamar Chase who finished it off with a touchdown reception. After the touchdown, McPherson on to kick this one away. And they'll start this drive just across the 30. Pretty nice work on the return. The Seahawks take back over. And they have had their problems moving the ball through the air as we take you through some of the action from earlier. This secondary has played about as well as you can. Many times they've left this quarterback with nowhere to go with the football. Ready to get this drive underway. The defense got the better of them last series, forcing a punt. See if they make a few changes in the game plan here and try to get points out of this drive. 1st and 10. And he gets this up to the 34 out of bounds there. So the completion good for just 3. And it'll be 2nd down.
All defenses worry that whenever anyone catches the ball and has a head of steam come out of the backfield, it can turn into a big play with missed tackles or he runs through people. But they were right there waiting, and they stopped him for a minimal gain.
This is Fant on the short completion. A gain of 3 last play. This time they double it and pick up 6. 1 quarter remains here in this Thursday night matchup. We'll return with more after this break. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. Back now in Seattle, Washington. It's the Seahawks with possession of the football, but they do trail here to begin quarter number 4. They'll try for the first with Walker. Oh, they hit him in the backfield, and he will not escape. And that is not going to get it done. That'll make it 4th down after a loss of 1.
There's no question that coming into this game, this defense was pretty vocal about its desire to take this running back out of his game. And all that pregame wolfing has turned into results.
All right, they're going to try and keep hope alive here on 4th down. They're going for it. It's complete. Swings it out to his running back. And he brings this up to the 46. Good enough for the first. The time to pull out the stops is now, and they convert there on 4th down.
This possession means so much for them. They've got to focus on this drive and find a way to make this a one-possession game.
Yes.
Got to get a score.
Yeah, so good with a field goal. Don't necessarily need a touchdown. Now Geno. And complete to Smith and Jigba. And down he goes at the 45 after a pickup of 9. They like going to him in the slot. He catches another one.
I think this comes under the heading of until they stop him, why not go back to him? He has something going really well. Great working relationship with the guy throwing the ball, and they keep making the connection.
Ball spotted at the 45. Here's 2nd down and a yard. Now to the ground. Here's Walker. And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. They go backwards there 2 yards, and 2nd and 1 is now 3rd and 3.
That was well played there defensively. 2 tight ends in the formation, which essentially gave them 7 blockers up front. Hard to imagine with all that size and beef that they could let a tackler through, but that's exactly what happened. A loss resulted.
They run again with Walker. Boy, no chance as he was met and dropped behind the line there. Nothing doing on 2nd and 3rd down after that 9-yard gain on 1st.
I thought he did a nice job there setting an edge and making sure nothing could get to the outside. But he decided that wasn't enough for him. Worked his way back inside and made the tackle on the ball carrier.
And they're indeed going to go for it here on 4th down. So trailing here in the last quarter, let's see how this plays out. Here we go on 4th. Smith. He's got his target. That's complete. And he'll be taken down, but he does have first down yardage. And the drive stays in motion with a nice 8-yard pickup on fourth. So this offense able to convert on fourth, and now a fresh set of downs here, 1st and 10. Throwing now is Geno. That's caught over the middle by Fant. And finally down he goes as they work it inside the 10 to the 7. It's a gain of 34.
And the offense is saying to itself right now, only they were all this easy because he was wide open. And once he made the catch, plenty of room to work his way downfield. That was a breakdown on the defensive side of the ball, one that they want to fix immediately.
Now a chance to make that big play really hurt. It's 1st and goal just outside the 5. Here's Walker. And he is going to lose yardage here. A loss of 2 there, 2nd down.
The short field shrinks even more with the type of bodies they brought in on that play. Those extra tight ends, they weren't able to secure their blocks, and that one ended up going backwards.
Now from the 9, here's 2nd and goal. Now Smith. Flushed out right. And he will score. Touchdown, Seattle. Geno Smith, a 9-yard touchdown run. And the Seahawks have made it a one-score game again here in the 4th. So how about that for an answer? They get the touchdown there, and it's back to a one-score game here in the 4th.
And that's what these guys have done all game long because they've scratched and slashed their way to stay in this game. And by now, we should all realize they're not going away. Now the pressure again swings to their defense because they're going to need to find some way to get the ball back.
They'll try and run it here. So unable to throw it in for 2 from the 2. Let me ask you, as a former DB, what changes there around the goal line on a 2-point conversion as far as how you're defending it?
You just make sure you never back up and you never retreat. You establish yourself really on the line of scrimmage, put your heels on the goal line at worst, and if they're going to throw the ball, make them throw it over your head because they're going to run out of space because of the back of the end zone. Never let a guy catch one in front of you.
And after the touchdown, here's Myers to boot it away. And they will wrangle him down a couple yards shy of the 30. The Bengals offense and Joe Burrow getting set for this next drive. And as we show you some of the highlights from earlier, he has been instrumental in getting his guys the lead as he looks to finish strong and close this one out. The Cincy offense about ready to go here on their next drive. Right now clinging to a one-score lead, Charles, and I think operating within that 4-minute offense with a little less than 4 minutes to go applies here, right?
It certainly does, and that means the playbook is still wide open. But you are a little bit more careful about what you're calling. You want plays, they're going to gain yardage, how would you say it, consistently, right? You don't need the big shots downfield, but make sure the clock continues to run. Pile up the first downs, and the goal, end the game with your quarterback kneeling down at the end, and you still have the lead.
Clock continuing to run. They'll probably wind this all the way before snapping it on 2nd down. Now it's Burrow. This one complete to Yoshibas. And they nearly get this all the way to midfield. Mark him down at the 49. And defensively, they were in zone coverage there. Do you have to be a little careful? You're losing, playing against a good quarterback like he is, to not play too much zone?
Yeah, you have to be careful about how much time you're giving up. I think it's a good point you just brought up. So maybe if you still want to play zone, you go to a zone blitz scheme. and you can drop anyone out of your defensive front. Defensive end, defensive tackle. It doesn't matter. You just exchange someone to bring more pressure towards the quarterback and still try and cover downfield.
They're not totally home free yet, but it's looking good as they come up 1st and 10. From the gun, a give to Brown. And he's up across midfield and down into Seattle territory. And now we'll see a timeout used on defense as they stop it right out of the break with 1:57 to go in the ballgame. From the 47, it's 2nd and 5. He's going to get it again. Just looking to get forward and protect the ball. Now the Seahawks call the 2nd of their 3 timeouts. That'll leave them with just 1 remaining in this 4th quarter of play. Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10. Right back to Brown. And he'll get it inside the 35. Now the Seahawks forced to use their 3rd and final timeout as they'll talk things over prior to this upcoming 2nd down play. They'll give this up the middle to Brown. And he will have the Bengals 1st down, and it's celebration time on that sideline, and they've earned it. You can really tell right now both sides have amped up the aggressiveness. That time the offense winning the aggression battle.
And the defense was obviously aiming for the football, maybe a little bit more so than the runner himself, and that's why he was able to break through and get the gain that he did.
The Bengals go down to a knee in the victory formation. Burrow down to a knee, and that should be the final act of this one.
Yeah, it's fun to kneel down in front of your home crowd, but when you go on the road, that band of brothers attitude, right? Just us against the world and get it done. How happy are they?
I remember a coach at a previous stop telling me, you get a win on the road, doesn't matter the opponent, get out of there like you stole something. And they did in this one. So this one in the win column now for the Cincinnati Bengals. And this one wasn't easy. You had an East Coast team, Charles, going west, playing a night game, but somehow they were able to get the job done.
Yeah, when you talk about playing a night game, they're closer to being sleepy because of East Coast time with their bodies when you're kicking off to play the game. So that's a real big accomplishment for them to get that done. The flip side, too, is traveling home in the old days, you had to wait to get the video for your next game. You had all those. So you were really a day behind. Now the video's on their computers as they get on the plane to head back, so they can get a lot of work done on the plane while they celebrate.
It's going to be a long red eye, but as you